baby apart. Used to have 4 of these weights on here. Unfortunately, one jumped off and went under the slasher, and that was the end of that. Now I've just got bits of a weight. Should have taken this off before I started filming, I guess. Alright, finally. Here we go. At least this rope stopped the rest of these jumping off, so I guess that's one thing. Okay, let's pull off. It's nice and tight. Okay, try again. This tractor was missing that bracket when I bought it. Now I've got to pull this little plate off here, because when I turn the steering wheel, the whole front axle assembly moves forward and backwards depending on which way I'm turning the steering wheel. So I'm assuming, well, I'm hoping that there's a faulty bush behind here, or collapsed bush, or maybe been apart at some point, and that has that's causing my problem, but we're soon to find out. Okay, so I've lifted the weight of the tractor off the ground, so you can see I can move the wheels as this whole assembly moves forward and back. So we'll see what we find behind this plate. I tried putting grease into this grease nipple here after I put all the front wheel units back on. I rebuilt those back in January. It's now April. Fixed all the bearings and bushers and seals and O-rings that were worn out in there. So the front end is brand new now. All the four-wheel drive units are anyway. And when I tried to put grease into here, it squirted back out again, which was a surprise, and a very sort of like funny string kind of pattern as it came back out again. So didn't seem to be particularly interested in accepting grease. Never pulled one of these apart before, so I'm not sure what I'm going to find. I mean, I've seen the diagram of it, but the diagram gives us a bit of a guide, I guess, but I have no real knowledge of what I'm going to encounter when we pull this off. and that's not going anywhere in a hurry. Okay. Okay, shall we try a little bit of gentle persuasion? That is tight. That is very tight. And I think I can see the shims. It has shims. Okay, see if I can pull those shims out of there. Okay, well, I've got it off, and it would appear that I also need to support the axles here because there's this shaft here and this locating pin hold the whole assembly up in position. It doesn't look like the bushes are the problem because they don't appear to be collapsed in there in any way, shape or form. This thrust washer is definitely worn, but it looks like the problem is that this plate is bent in two directions. The shaft is bent up and it's been wearing unevenly because of that, and it's also bent that way, so goodness knows what they've done to do that. But I suspect my problem is that I need to have either a straightened version of this, which looks pretty difficult to achieve, or perhaps buy another one. But being a 45-year-old tractor, I don't know that I'm going to be able to buy another one, so we will see. I will have a chat to the Kubota people on Monday and see what they say, and otherwise it's going to be an attempt maybe in the press to try and straighten this up and see if I can get this working a whole lot better. Alrighty, I'll clean this all up and we'll come back. Well, okay, I've cleaned up this plate, and it's got a very nice little bend in it, which shouldn't be there obviously. The thrust washer is actually not too bad. The bushes have definitely got a bit of wear on them because of the angle that this has been kicked up at. So I'm going to take it inside, put it on the press and see if I can straighten it up a little bit, make it useful, just in case it's a discontinued part and no longer available, as is this thrust washer and the two bushes. I've managed to get the last one of these thrust washers in Australia, and the two bushes I ordered in from the States. They're here, but as it turns out they're not really the issue. It's this plate that is the issue. So I'm going to see if I can fix it without doing too much damage, and see if I can get it back together this afternoon, and if I can get a new plate, all and well, but if not, it'll have to do. Well, I've got the plate back in again. I was able to straighten it on the press, although there must be another kind of a bend in it now because the bolts on this side all lined up okay, but these ones are out of alignment. I was able to get two bolts in, but I can't get this third one in. So I will talk to the Kubota guys to see if I can get a new one of these. With this back in place now, the movement that was in the front axle is gone. So that's achieved what I was aiming at. And obviously the problem was that this plate was bent out and around. Goodness knows how they managed to do that at some point. Obviously took a really bad knock in the front end somehow. Did some very serious kind of damage really. But now that's gone, so that's at least fixed that. If I can't buy another one of these new plates, then I'll probably just pull this one back off and I'll just ream these holes out a little bit so I can get the bolts in. There's a locating pin there, which the shaft here goes into the diff, and then that locating pin puts it in the right place, and then you put your other bolts in, and that gives the extra strength it needs. So now it's all good. But wow, that was a bit of a learning curve. Not too bad, but thank goodness I had a press and was able to work this around a little bit. Ended up using the head of 2 bolts here end to end and push down there to try and push that back, and it's to straighten up this shaft because it was kicked in at an angle like that. So now it's not perfect, but it went on without any problems whatsoever. It came off a bit tight, so things are better than they were, but not quite 100% where I'd like them to be, so we'll see if I can fix that. Otherwise, this will have to be it.